Hey, Soaring to Superstar, and welcome to day 22 of this program, which is actually day 44 because we've stretched it out, as you recall. But you know what that means? That means we're getting really close. We are, we're getting really close to wrapping up this program. I hope that you are still doing your 5x5s, making your 5 comments and connections daily, doing your 5x5s daily, 5 days a week, because those are all going to be due at the end, and you're going to want to turn them in so you can finish this program. So I hope that that's been pushing you, making you get in some consistent routines, along with all of the other things that Nicole and I have been sharing with the help of the creators of this program, Nick, Megan, and Carla, of kind of key systems, practices, ideas to help you build your Scentsy business and grow and promote. So today we're going to talk about something that we like to call hobbyists. Now, you are not a hobbyist. I am not a hobbyist. We might have hobbies, but Scentsy is not one of them. Scentsy has become more than a hobby to us. So lots of people join Scentsy for a hobby. I did. I joined for a hobby. Some people join for a hobby and stay. Some people join for a hobby, realize the potential, and decide to do something more with it and turn it into a business. We're going to talk about kind of how to spot that change a little bit later. But for now, what I really want to touch on is hobbyists and why they're important. So it can be very difficult because we realize the potential in the Scentsy business. We see what it's done in our lives. We see what it's done in the lives of our friends. We maybe see what it's done in the lives of people who we watch on YouTube and who we look up to. And we know that that's where we want to be someday, right? And we know it's possible. And we want anyone who joins our team to have that same experience, to have those same goals, to want to be a leader, and all of those good things. And that is just not realistic, and nor is it desired. And here is why. You need hobbyists on your team. We all need hobbyists on our team. We cannot have a team full of leaders, or what will happen is they'll promote, and sometimes if someone joins our team and they're a go-getter, they're a leader, right? That pushes our volume, our wholesale volume. But then we need other people who aren't promoting out as leaders so we can sustain our TWV. I should have printed out a large compensation chart, but I'm just going to show you guys this. If you aren't super familiar with the compensation chart, it's a really good idea to get familiar with it. And a lot of the parts and pieces make more sense kind of as you hit them. But if you want to take it all in at once and you're that type of person, that's great too. But a big question that we get asked is, what's the difference between TWV and GWV? So TWV stands for Team Wholesale Volume. GWV is Group Wholesale Volume. Those numbers are exactly the same until you promote out your first director. And then when someone who you've personally sponsored or someone in your downline promotes to director, they are no longer part of your team, but they are still part of your group. So their numbers go in the group wholesale volume category, but not the team wholesale volume category. And you are left with your team wholesale volume, which is everybody else besides that director and their numbers. Does that make sense? So if we're talking about promoting to director, which is the thing after superstar, right? Which is it's a huge deal, and I hope it's one of your guys' goals, and I hope it's why you're working to build to superstar and hopefully build to director as well. You will. If you want to, you will. Let me just say that. You don't want a team of leaders because then they're going to promote out and take their group wholesale with them, and you're not going to have any team wholesale. And as you can see, if we go to the director line here, you have to have 2,000 team wholesale volume and then 10,000 group wholesale volume. So you have to have at least 2,000 wholesale volume sales with you and your other folks worth of hobbyists. And 2,000, that's a pretty big number. And then as you keep climbing the ladder at Star Director, you have to have 6,000 team wholesale volume. And at Superstar Director, you have to have 10,000 wholesale volume. So as a Superstar Director, I have to have 10,000 TWV without any of the other directors below me. Then that's the director GWV number, right? So I need a team, a huge team of people to help me get those numbers. Just like at any of your levels here, if you're working on promoting to Star Consultant or even Lead Consultant or Superstar Consultant, you need a whole heap of people to help you hit those numbers. And the more people you have, the better. And here's why. Because hobbyists especially aren't going to want to put in 200 every single month. They are probably getting for themselves. They might be getting for their family or their coworkers. They might do 1 or 2 parties a year when the catalog switches. They're not going to be consistent because it's a hobby. It's fun for them. They might hit up the LTOs. They might subscribe to the Scent and Warmer of the Month every single month, but they aren't chasing after the 1,000 PRV, the 2,000 PRV. They might, and that's where we're going to say that might be where you see a person who's a hobbyist kind of start to shift to going, hey, actually, I'm kind of making money, and actually, this is pretty fun, and actually, I kind of want to earn a trip, and actually, and you kind of see those like switches, and then they're maybe moving from a hobbyist to someone who wants more who wants to grow and lead a team. But for the most part, your hobbyists are going to be real like all over the place. So if you have a whole bunch of people who are all over the place, hopefully they're kind of taking turns on different months as it would happen. And so you still can hit your numbers. Does that make sense? And so the more of them you have, the greater the likelihood that you are going to hit numbers. If you are working to promote to Lead Consultant or you want to get paid at Lead Consultant, all that takes is you and one other person, okay? But that person has to be active, which means they have to have their 200 PRV in. And you have to have 1,000 team wholesale volume. So that could be all you, because if you're a rock star and you have a 2,000 PRV month, you're already over that 1,000 TWV, then you have your one little active person, boom, your lead. Now next month, this person who joined, she's a hobbyist, and she's like, you know what, I just ordered all my spring stuff and I don't need anything for a couple more months, and nope, I'm not going to ask anybody to host a party because I'm not in this like you are. And so you're not going to get paid on title because your one little soul person here is not into it that month, right? But if you have 5 people and you're a Lead Consultant, chances are one of those 5 people is probably going to get active that month, and then you can be paid at title. Does that make sense? And it's the same all the way up. And those group wholesale volume numbers and team wholesale volume numbers, so much easier with more people, because it's just, it is just a numbers game. You need 2,500 TWV to be a Star Consultant. Well, if you have 10 people, that's 250. Well, no, because of TWV is different than PRV, but you know what I mean? Like that number gets smaller with the more people who you have. So it's always a good idea to keep growing, keep those hobbyists. We want them here. We love them. We are not sad when they don't get active in the month. We aren't sad when they don't jump on the challenges that we're sharing with them. And here's why. If we try to push our hobbyists, and I am just as guilty, I am guilty because I know that there is so much potential. I know that if you have 200 PRV in a month, that's $50 that you're going to make the next month. And $50 can be a tank of gas, maybe 2 tanks of gas, unless you drive a truck maybe. Or, a trip to the grocery store, or a new pair of jeans for your child, or, whatever. Like $50 can be a big deal. And you can get that each month by just selling 200 PRV. And to sell 200 PRV, it's not that tough, because you just have to, share a couple of our products and, diversify beyond wax and warmers and share some of the other things. And then pretty soon you're at 200, because the people love this stuff. The people love it. It's a great product. And Scentsy gives us tons of reasons to reach out to people and share with them, right? That's how I see it. However, many people on my team, no, they don't want that. That's not why they joined. They joined so they can maybe get a discount. They joined for whatever reason. And if I'm constantly pushing them and telling them that they need to do this or that they have to do this or whatever, they're going to just quit. Because people don't need that kind of stress in their lives. I don't need people telling me what to do. I'm sure they don't need people telling them what to do. So if we are like trying to force them to do something for us, we might chase our little hobbies away. And that's not what we want to do. We love them. We want them to stay. We want them to stay how it's convenient for them. We want them to know that the opportunity is there and that we are there for them when and if they are ever ready. When and if they want to know more or learn more or grow a team, whether that's in 1 month or 5 years, we're still there for them. That we want to share. But we don't want to push them. We don't want to force them to help us reach our goal. That's not their job. Our job is to get more people so that we don't have to put pressure on everybody, right? We can be better recruiters. If our team doesn't help us hit numbers, if our team doesn't get in, get active or whatever, that just means it's on us to get more people. It's not their fault. As the leader, we need more people then. So the other thing about that is that every once in a while, you're going to get a business builder. And the more people you recruit, the more you're going to find your rock star. And you just don't know when it's going to happen. And sometimes it is a switch. Sometimes it's someone who is a hobbyist who the light bulb comes on and they switch to a business builder. But we don't know when that's going to be or what's going to make that light bulb happen. We don't know when we're going to recruit. Like I tell you, I have had, and I assure you, that's a bold statement, but I would almost bet anything that every other leader who's like a superstar director, star director, has had the people who they're like, oh man, she's going to be good. You know what? She has tons of friends. Her social media is great. She has direct sales experience. She She's going to be my next rock star. I know it. She's going to join. She's gung-ho, and she's going to be my one. She's going to be my next director. I know it. I know it's her. I know it's her. And then she joins, and whatever else, something, it just doesn't happen, right? And then we've had the person who we're like, I don't know. I don't really think Scentsi's for them. And you're like talking yourself out of it in your head. And they join and they become your rock star. You just don't know. So it's talking to everybody, asking everybody, and your next rock star might not be who you think that they are, but they are out there somewhere. And that's why keeping asking, you're going to find them. You're going to find them. And then boom, suddenly you're promoting, right? And you're getting more hobbyists so you can keep getting paid at title. And it's just like this crazy, awesome, beautiful thing. It's amazing. So I can promise you that it's happened to me. It's happened to pretty much everybody who I've seen in this business. So keep asking, keep sharing, keep the hobbyists happy, doing their hobbyist thing, get more hobbyists. And while you're getting those hobbyists, you're going to find your next rock star. So that's kind of, I guess it's a mindset shift because it can feel really frustrating. And it might be you and a team of one where you're like, my person does nothing. My person or my people, they're just not engaged. They're doing nothing. Okay, get more people. You got to get more people. You have to. And those people might be the more engaged ones. And so what our homework is for today is to write down, go through your team. This might be short depending on how big your team is. Might take you a little longer. Go through your team and kind of identify right now who you think might be the hobbyists and who you might think be the business builders or your next business builders with you. Okay, so you're going to go through and write that down. And if you're not sure and you really don't want to be judging for this person on what they want out of their Scentsy business, ask them and say something like, hey, teammate, what are you looking for out of your Scentsy business this season? And as their leader, that's like a great thing to ask, because we probably should know their goals. We should know their why and what they're hoping to get out of it, because again, we can't assume that we know what that is. An indicator of someone who's kind of wanting to make that shift, or perhaps you could have that conversation with about making the shift, is going to be someone who has 500 PRV consistently, because they're already, doing what it takes to get paid at a leadership role if they had teammates. So that 500 PRV consistently, 1,000 PRV consistently, like Laura was talking about a few weeks ago when I shared Laura's recruiting video, like your high PRV people are going to be your recruiters, right? Like that's just kind of going to follow, because they're having parties, they're getting in front of people, they're getting customers, and then that's, how you're going to find your people who are maybe ready to join, right? So anyway, high PRV, maybe you want to have those conversations about taking the next step or promoting or whatever. And sometimes those conversations they'll just fall flat. Like sometimes it'll just be like, hey, I noticed you've had 500 PRV for the past 5 months. Have you ever thought about growing your team? Oh, no. It's just my mom and my sister who like to order, and we just go through the whips like crazy. Okay. Well, if you ever want to do it, you know what? My mom and sister have done Scentsy with me, and it's actually super fun to do Scentsy with them. If they want to join your team, they can, something like that. I mean, that's true for me. I don't know. You only want to say that if that's true for you. That's an example, right? So, that's kind of how to look for the shift, maybe. Other ways to shift people, corporate events. So doing SFR online or World Tour online, definitely when events were in person. I recognize the online stuff's a little bit trickier, but things like that, engaging in team meetings, engaging in the team page or in your team group chat or whatever you have going, things like that. Those are some kind of ways to see how people might be wanting to shift. Life changes too. Like let's say somebody lost their job or had a baby or bought a new car and suddenly needs more financial income from their Scentsy business. That might be an indicator of someone who wants to make a shift too. But for the most part, it just kind of happens and you'll see it. So like I said, I joined as a hobbyist for sure. And then I had my first party and it was great. And I got a teammate and that was great. And then I wanted to earn a trip and that was great. So that kind of happened. And that might happen to you too with your team. Like you find people who want to earn the trips, like, okay, let's go. What does that take? That takes growing a team. So, helping them along that way too. So you want your rock stars, you want your hobbyists, we want them all. We don't want to force one to be the other or the other to be one, both have their place. So you're going to write them down. If you're not sure, you're going to ask. And then when you look at your list of hobbyists that you have written down, you are going to say to yourself, these people are my hobbyists, and that's awesome. And then you're just going to let it go. You're not going to force them to be something that they're not. You're going to be thankful and grateful that they're hobbyists. And if you need to keep that list and remind yourself, these are my hobbyists, and I love them. And so for your homework, you'll take a picture of your hobbyists. You don't have to take a picture of the names because, some of them might be on here. Probably not if they're hobbyists, but we're not here to judge who is and isn't, right? It's just that activity of going, okay, these people are maybe in it for this. These people are in it for something different. Those people who are just in it for a hobby, I'm good with that. So it can be a folded up piece of paper and you're going to keep that. You're going to take a picture of it. That'll be your homework for today. And then you can put it in your notebook or wherever. Now that doesn't mean we just say, you're a hobbyist, I'm done with you, right? It just means that we are not pushing them or wishing that they would be something they aren't. And most importantly, we aren't depending on them for our promotions and our pay. So you're still going to want to shout them out if they're close to a goal. You're still going to want to reach out to them. You're still going to want to develop those relationships with them and cultivate that relationship and that sense of connection so they stay with you, so they stay a hobbyist. You're still going to want to share what's new with them, because if they're a hobbyist, that's probably their biggest motivation. Like, I get to see things before everybody else. I mean, if I wasn't a Scentsy consultant, I would be, just for that reason, right? So I could see everything first, so I could smell first. Like, so you're going to want to make sure you're helping them stay up to date on all of that good stuff. But you're not saying, you know, you need to get your 500 in or else I'm coming to your house. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely don't say that, you know. But we aren't one of those companies who makes people do things that they don't want to do, right? So, we let them stay where they are, and if they want more, we're there for them. So that's our exercise on hobbyists today. That's why hobbyists are important. I hope that kind of helps you see them in a new light, and value. And I hope you have fun with this assignment. If you don't have anybody on your team yet, just remember, keep asking, keep sharing those host exclusive kits, keep sharing the opportunity, tweak it, try it again, and just keep at it, and before long you will. So, all right, you guys are rocking this. I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to see your teams just explode with growth of hobbyists and business builders and all of that good stuff, and see you promote. You're going to promote this season. You are going to promote.